Radio. Their radio.
We recently got a website. You should check it out, their-radio.com. But with that website, we're now able to do more coverage of different artists in different mediums and different formats. Today we have our first interview that will be premiering on the site. Jeweler Victor Hugo Sanchez, also known as VHS. We met with Victor at his booth on Broadway in downtown LA. His company Victor & Co. will soon be releasing a pendant called the LA Jesus piece. So we spoke with Victor about the LA Jesus piece, what inspired him to create it, what makes a jewelry piece specific to Los Angeles, and his transition from once being a political organizer to now being a jeweler.
As solo entities, I've worked on a piece with Blasey, who's obviously, I'd say the biggest graphic designer business in LA, with Nothing Personal, obviously, clothing brand. Then I worked with House Phone on his brand, High Rollers, on some earrings for his photo shoot. But yeah, I've worked with even Planting Seeds. It's a clothing brand. He does hats, reworks jeans, things like that. So Edgar Varela out of Evil Vice, who has done great work. He's another clothing brand that I'm grateful for, that he has come back, twice or three times actually now. Hesh, skateboarder, entrepreneur.
Did you make that one piece I saw with that white dude from Opium? I don't know that.
That's right. Yeah, the Burberry Airy piece. I did that. Luckily through a connection through the 10C41, because he signed, or he skates for them. So I was actually doing a piece for Little Junior, who's been skating everywhere at this point. He signed to Nike, but I was doing a piece for the videographer too, 22K. Told him, I was like, I have this piece. Let me know what you think of it. And he sent it to Burberry, and he was like, I love it. He needed it. So yeah, that was a cool connection that I got from the 10C41 crew. The day-to-day person, it's hard to relate to a rapper's lifestyle. They could relate more to the skater. They could relate more to the graphic designer. Someone that they can see obtainable. A rapper is like 1 in a million chances that you get there. And so a lot of my first, clients, luckily you can see that there's not a lot of rappers there. It's just a lot of creatives, which thankfully, and skaters, which is kind of a blessing in a different market, I think, than most jewelers. Name is Victor, go by VHS. I'm a custom jeweler. We're in downtown LA right now, in the jewelry district to be specific. We're on Broadway and in between 5th and 6th. It's also like a historic core of downtown LA, so a lot of the buildings can't be changed. There's a lot of like plumbing issues, AC issues, and things like that because of the coding here. My family, they came from Mexico, from Puebla to be specific, and they set up shop here in downtown. So it's probably been, I'd say, 30 years. Just by nature, I grew up in it. Since I was little, I've been around. My dad had a shop in Van Nuys swap meet, the indoor swap meet in Van Nuys, and since I was little, I was there, watching. I had kind of lost connection to this side of the family when I was, like 13 or so. And then I got back in contact like when I was 21, 22, right around the time I graduated from Cal State Long Beach and got a full-time job. And I was like, let me go downtown, get a necklace and see what we can do. And that's how I reconnected with this side of the family. And my interest just sparked from there, realizing how close we were to everything.
Victor tells me that this work has been a learning experience.
I'm still learning every day, honestly.
Okay.
So the transition, it's a daily thing. It's a continual thing. I think, I'm in year 2, I'd say. So give me like 5 years, then I'll say, I'm more settled in. But it's definitely a transition still.
What do you think about those 2 years already so far?
Honestly, it's a blessing. Like, I could say I didn't have any type of like industry connections at all. I had an idea, to be honest, and I was a fan of the Biggest Bros. I was like, it would be a marketing opportunity, almost like a commercial, almost like an ad. You know, if I can connect with them, pull up on them, give them a piece, and then from there, it can kind of, you know, add some legitimacy to what I do, and then people can start placing orders. That was my idea, and from there, it kind of sparked.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I actually reached out to their person that would maybe program coordinator type of deal, intern at their network or their channel. I was like, hey, I have this idea. Here's, you know, the silver version. It would be cool if, you know, I just gave him the idea. And he was like, yeah, we could for sure do it. I had even reached out to House Phone via Instagram. He was the one to actually hit me back and was like, bro, let me pull up on you or you pull up on me and I want to see it in person. So when he saw it, he was like, dude, you need to come on the show and do it. Not knowingly, I was already talking to the Mac.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of worked out. And then from there, just people that they knew in the industry had also reached out, luckily, you know.
Mm. What piece was it that you made? What was it, that first one?
Yeah, I actually made the Biggest Bros pendant. They're actually their logo.
Oh,
Gifted it to all four of them, five of them. The first one was the 10C41 skull, the skate crew 10C41.
yeah.
That was the first one I made, and that's a funny connection because I went to high school with them. So
Mm.
yeah, so I had been knowing them for a while. So I got in contact with them, and I was like, hey, this is a cool idea. They had they already had one for their whole crew, but I was like, I came with a different style, you know, a different taste, and they liked it. And yeah, that was the first one.
Is there a piece that you've been proud of that you made so far?
Any one specific? I'd say no. Right now, I think I treat them all like my babies
Okay.
because they're like my first ones, you know. So I put everything into them. I think I'm probably gonna stay like that, but for now, that's how I feel. Like they're all my little babies, and each one I'm very very proud of.
VHS was not always a jeweler, and a different career path was set for him just a few years ago.
I mean, I was studying political science. I got my bachelor's in political science. At the time, I wanted to run political campaigns.
Okay.
I had an internship at the time as well with a Long Beach Unified School District Council, you know, race. And so I was in love with it. I really wanted to be like campaign manager for maybe like a senator or like a, you know, presidential candidate would be cool. But yeah, I had big aspirations in terms of the political world.
Why the political sphere specifically?
I went to Cypress Community College first, right? And
Right.
you take your you know, your general classes, and that was really the only one that kind of pulled at my interest. Maybe because it's from my immigrant background, you know, from my parents who are immigrants, that I felt we don't know anything about this political structure. You know, we're used to Mexico or El Salvador, but we're not used to the American tradition or the American laws. And that's a very, very critical thing in terms of, you know, moving the culture forward or the moving, you know, people forward. You got to know who you're playing with and, you know, the rules of the game.
Do you feel like in some aspects you still carry that into this transition you made, or is it like something totally, like a totally different mindset? Yeah.
I think for sure I carry that over in the sense that even the way I kind of market, you know, Victor and Co. is it's the juxtaposition of luxury, and I record it on VHS because it gives it that texture of like, you know, that grimy, gritty texture compared to that, you know, luxury of gold or silver, and then also I record on the streets of Broadway. I don't record, you know, inside of, you know, St. Vincent Jewelry Mart, which is the nicest place you could probably record of. I record the actual what it looks like, and you know, I think hopefully shed some eyes on that as well. Well, Victor obviously is my name, but
Yeah.
a lot of people think it's I got it from Tiffany and Co., which
Yeah.
of course, you know, it's probably big, but or the biggest and Co. But I got it from Jacob and Co.,
Okay.
the New York jeweler. That's who I really got my inspiration from. You know, one of the OGs I'd say in the game. He started. If you see some of his old pictures of like, he had a booth just like this. It wasn't anything luxurious, and now he's one of the biggest I'd say in the world. Now he has like he just opened up a store in like Dubai, which is crazy. And what inspired me was that he was one of the first I'd say hip hop jewelers, at least coming out of New York, that did like Biggie's chain, Jay-Z's chain, things like that. And you know, That's where I got that from. I want to take it there
That's your vision with Victor and Co?
for sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Like make jewelry
for the stars,
for
for
the
sure,
stars.
for
Okay.
everybody. But I want to be there in that conversation.
What do people not know that goes into the work that you're doing? That
Yeah, I mean, it's a very laborious job. A lot of the times you just see the finished product and you think, wow, how hard was this, right? But it's a very tedious job where, as you mentioned, you asked me, does your neck hurt? Does your, shoulders hurt because you're hunched over on the desk? Your eyes are strained because you're super focused on trying to clean certain parts of a small object. And so these things take hours, and that's just, the cleaning portion of it. Then you come to the polishing, which is, the last part before you get it to the client. And these machines are going at who knows how many miles per hour, and they burn your hands because you're making the metal hot. And sure, you have these leather patches that you can hold to kind of you know sustain the heat from your hands, but it still burns your hands. I mean, you could see that, and that's a blister from the heat that I get from the silver or from the gold. So there's a lot of it's very labor intensive, I'd say.
is there a differentiation or is there a specific culture when it comes to jewelry here in LA and elsewhere?
For sure. I mean, you have your staples like the Rolex chain. That's like you could find that anywhere in LA. You probably won't find that anywhere else in the world. But another thing is because LA is so Latino dominated, is the Latino jewelry like the Guadalupes, the San Judas, even just the Jesus pieces, the crosses, things like that. I feel like that's more LA.
Before we met, Victor had told me about a piece he had been working on. The design is a pendant of a religious Jesus face with the LA skyline as the crown.
I'm gonna call it the LA Jesus piece. So it's gonna be for Victor and Co. It's gonna be my first pendant that we're making. Um, and I was inspired by it, as I kind of briefly told you. I was in a car crash on the 10, um, and it was a terrible car crash. And I'm not gonna get into specifics, but as soon as I got in my car, I was like still distraught over the crash, and I look up and I see the downtown LA skyline, and for some reason, it just in my head I saw it as a crown. I saw the Jesus behind it, everything. It kind of just came to me almost like an epiphany after the crash. Um, and I pulled over. I took a note of it. I called my grandma and I told her about the crash and all that. And then I drove over here and I was like, we need to make that. And it's funny. I've kind of gone through the 110. I've gone through the 101. I've gone through different freeways coming into the downtown LA, and the skyline never looks just how that image is of that crown. And I think it was just meant to be. It's really my ode to the city. I love this city. I've been coming downtown since I was little. As I told you, my family's been here forever. So downtown LA always has had a special place in my heart. And it was just, I think the crash was just like the moment for me to see it, and a way for me to be able to apply it to jewelry in a way, it, for it to make sense.
I had a chance to wear the chain and feel the quality.
Damn, that's heavy. That's a heavy one. That's crazy. So did you design this?
Yeah, so I mean, I have a designer I really work close with. His name is Aaron. I'm glad I found him. He's like a protege. He's like 20. He just turned 21 actually.
That's crazy.
But yeah, I helped me and him design that. I sent him the image. We worked on it, and this is a sample. Obviously, it didn't come
Yeah.
out the cleanest right there and in the back, but the idea is there. The reaction that you gave me was perfect.
That's crazy.
It's
Yeah,
heavy.
it's heavy. Yeah. Is that important? Like something being heavy and not?
Oh, for me, it's the most important thing. I think that's where the quality comes from. If you get something, I mean, everybody has their budget, and that's why I say, if you want something of quality and you can't afford the gold piece, go with the silver.
Mhm.
It's still gonna cost it's still a precious metal in the world,
Mhm.
and then you can get a real solid piece. I feel like that's the whole purpose of when you get, at least maybe it's a man thing, maybe it's a hip hop thing, I don't know, but when you put it on, you kind of want that. Oh, if it's a heavy,
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's that quality, that oomph that you're looking for. And when you get something, that we call in jewelry we call hollow or light, it just doesn't feel the same when you put it on. You know, it's almost
Yeah.
like kiddish, and that's not what I'm going for. You know, and to be honest, especially on Broadway, you do find a lot of hollow and things like that because it's for the budget and they're trying to sell you gold. But it's not about the metal to me. It's irregardless of the metal. Actually, I'm gonna give you quality, and quality to me is making it a good, weight. So this right now, the sample is actually 53 grams of 0.925 silver. So
Oh,
pretty
that's
heavy. Yeah.
That's crazy. That's crazy. When they come to you or when they ask you for a piece, like, what do you hope people take away from what you create or for what you do?
But I hope that they take away that it was not only a pleasant experience, but that they saw the quality and that they feel the quality. And not when I say feel the quality, not when they, um, you know, touch it or feel it, but in the sense when they put it on and you feel like on top of the world, almost like the equivalent of getting a haircut and you feel walking out like, oof, there's nothing that could stop me. When they put it on, I want them to feel like that. Like, oh, damn. Almost like that energy that I passed through putting that hard work that they can carry through whenever they put it on. My uncle always says that sometimes maybe I have big dreams and I want them fast.
Yeah.
But I think that pressure kind of motivates you to keep going and to do it every day. And I really want a retail front, like the ones that you see out here on Broadway, like what you saw walking by when you came in, just to say Victor and Co. And for me, my uncle, whoever it is, to be able to be there on our own hours, on our own rules, because it's kind of hard, being here in this plaza when you have somebody else's rules, somebody else's hours, and you don't get to do it the way you want to. And I want to be able to do that.
Yeah, like how different is that? Because I see that y'all are in the back of like the shop of like many
Yeah.
jewelry places, but like how different is it being here than to be like up front? Like, are the customers different? Are they the same? Like, what difference is there?
It depends, man. If they're just walking by, they look at us because we're the last ones in here. We're gonna get the cheapest deal or something like that, or we're low quality or whatever the case may be. You do definitely get an advantage of being up in the front. Most of the time, you have more merch to sell. Yeah, I feel like if you have a retail store, more consumers are open or have their wallets open walking in the doors compared to over here. But that's why usually I establish a connection with them. I send them over here and they know what they're in for. It's not somebody walking in and
Do you feel like hip hop now and especially now like plays a role in like the type of jewelry that comes out of here or no?
I think before it had a much bigger role in what people are, or the taste of people in LA. But now I think the tastemakers have changed. The reins have been taken over by like quote unquote the creative. The creative is the stylish one. The rapper is looking at the creative now. The rapper's looking at, let's say Blassie for the swag. They're looking at House Phone for the swag, Hash for the swag. So it's changed, and I think that's what my thinking was is I want these on the people that look cool. Like I want them on the people that have that cult following already for their style, for their look. Stay tuned. The LA Jesus piece is coming. There's a couple other pieces I'm gonna be dropping as an ode to the city. I'm nervous, but I'm excited. I hope the city loves it.
Follow him on Instagram to be updated on the Jesus piece and its release. We will include his hat in the description. I am the host and producer, Tony Morales. Our team also includes editor Moises Lopez and videographer Nathan Argumedo. We will be back soon with season 3 of our interview show. In the meantime, stay tuned for more multimedia stories. Peace.